I got a bone to pick, man. Seriously. I'm on my way to the store driving, and I decided to pull over because I was thinking about this whole fight yesterday. This whole Triller fight card with Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort being the main event. And I understand that Evander Holyfield was a last minute replacement because Oscar De La Hoya contracted COVID-19. But this is straight up bullshit. I mean, Triller. Triller's a total embarrassment to the sport. They don't give a rat's ass about boxing. All they care about is lining their pockets. YouTubers versus NBA has-beens. You got, senior citizen versus senior citizen. Got a coked out promoter in Oscar De La Hoya doing commentary. And so on. And last night, they decided to use a boxing legend in Evander Holyfield as a sacrificial lamb. I mean, I don't get this. Who in the hell sanctioned this fight? Why did the boxing commission approve of this fight? The man could have died in there. Evander Holyfield, a boxing legend, I understand that. Vitor Belfort is an MMA fighter coming into boxing, but that doesn't matter. Evander Holyfield is almost 60 years old. The man gets discounts at Denny's. The man gets an AARP card. The man is 58 years old. That was a dangerous thing to do on behalf of Triller. And let's not use that as an excuse that he was a last minute replacement. They didn't want to lose their ass off, so they decided to offer Evander Holyfield some money for him to be the sacrificial lamb. And I understand. Evander Holyfield made a paycheck. Good for him. But he could have got seriously injured in the fight, possibly even killed. My respects for the ref. I think he understood this. He put an end to the fight. Didn't let the punishment continue. But that was a horrible, horrible thing to watch. And I didn't pay for this fight. I watched somebody uploaded the fight on YouTube later on. So that's where I watched it. But this is nonsense, man. Honestly. Total nonsense. And just for the record, I don't have a problem with the likes of Jake Paul fighting against these MMA fighters. Why? Because he's put it in the training camps and he's fighting low level opposition. That's fine. And I understand it gets a lot of people upset because he's getting the big payday, but that's because he has a big following. But I do have a problem with them in the NBA player, okay? But I have a right. We have a right not to watch him fight. But putting Evander Holyfield in there with a 45-year-old, much stronger, younger Vitor Belfort. Even 45 is 45 years old, not a young man. But there's a big difference between 45 and a 50-year-old who was a last-minute replacement, for crying out loud. I mean, that man he was slower than molasses on a cold day. Evander Holyfield threw a punch and he fell when he missed. I mean, that was just horrendous to watch. And Triller should be ashamed of putting these fights together. Absolutely ashamed. And I think it's a mockery to boxing. It's disrespecting the boxing legend. These guys at Triller, are no geniuses. By the way, let's stop that shit. There are no geniuses. All they care is, what can we do to make these gullible boxing fans pay for our circus? And honestly, I think Triller at the end of the day won't be around. They're going to come and go 2-3 years in the sport, 4 or 5 years at the most, and they'll be gone. And that's good for boxing. But you know what? On that note, boxing is also part of the blame for not putting the big fights that we want to watch together. For, gifting fighters certain fights with terrible judging. This shit has to stop, man. If boxing wants to compete with MMA, and just for the record, I'm not the type of person that says boxing is dying, because I've been hearing that for the last 20, 30 years. And I am a boxing purist and I love the sport. And I believe that boxing could get its head out of its ass and switch it around, because it has in the last 5-10 years. But come on, boxing, we need to make the best fights happen. Promoters need to work together. Most importantly, the media needs to stop being so scared of losing their credentials because they don't want to give an honest opinion. Sean Porter, for example, last night, he's being a good boy and not calling it a spade and saying that, you know, what the hell is Evander doing in there? I get he got paid, so he can't say that. He has to be a good boy. But this is nonsense. Straight up nonsense. And I'm glad that Evander's okay. And if he made a good chunk of change, I'm also happy for him. This is nothing against Evander Holyfield. I was a big fan of him, of his. Um, Man, shit, he looked tremendous for 58 years old as far as his body. But he had no business in that ring. No business. So it's been a long time since I uploaded the video. But I had to call this nonsense out. This is just terrible.